Get ready.
The other one, which is funny, is chat boulette. And people are chatting, and they have to say meatball, boulette in French, anyhow they want to do it. So it's just stupid, like eternal chat of people saying meatballs. So, but another thing they did is like, it's called how private is your life, and so you don't need to put your name. Then you have sexually transmitted disease, and then it really goes like deep. Like, did you ever try to kill yourself? What's your job title? What's your how much money do you make? Bank account PIN, your Facebook password, and you submit it, and it goes public. So it's a very simple way with like a form. This is like one of the oldest ways to do something on the internet is a form, but it's really a way to turn upside down a form and talk about what does private life means on the internet today. And you do it in a very volunteer way, and it makes you, when you start to do it, it makes you think about every time you accept something or you log in with Facebook or whatever, like how it's easy and fluid to just give away your stuff, and you don't care. We never care about that. But when you do it consciously, entering fields, it starts to make you think about, okay, so what does my private life mean to me right now on the internet? Points with my mouse, but it isn't, because there's no time of loading. They just make you wait to anticipate. Like, it's volunteer. They do that intentionally. So I think it's a very interesting way of doing like a user experience. How do you think about the user experience? Or you make people wait. They want to make you wait. And every picture is already loaded in the project, because what they did, they just did a grid with every possibility of your mouse being somewhere, and they know where to load the right picture. And at some corner of a street, or I don't know where, you kind of add an epiphany, and you remember something very strong that happened at that place at that time that he forgot. So what he did is he asked his community of followers and fans to go on Google Street View and to go where they were born and raised and just walk around. And when they would have a souvenir, a memory that would come back that they forgot about, that they just have to take a print screen and just write down the memory that came back and send it to Zephyr. So he did a gallery like of these souvenirs. So these are, is it strong? Yes. So it's really strong stories and moments in life, and it's very interesting how also he uses internet as a content instead of going like, let's shoot this, let's shoot that. It's all taking something that exists already. Just visuals. So, and the reason I'm showing you this is I'm just thinking about your project about collaboration. So just the way I move my mouse, it just reconfigures shape, color, form. So I say this because maybe you want to think about, this is when I'm moving my mouse here. That's all that is happening, nothing else. His work is that it's the absolute adequation between the gesture of my hand and the result on an interface. It's not about pushing button or feeling that content is far away from me. It's really attached to my body in some way. So maybe we can think about collaboration more in a mathematical, geometrical way, like almost Tetris. But it's so relieving, like it's like and it makes you think about solicitation and saturation and threshold of information in the internet world. It's like a musical instrument with the keyboard. So if I change color, the same shape will change sound. 5 minutes max each team is maybe to tell us about what you decided today, what you ended up yesterday, when you finished the day saying, okay, these are our intentions, these are the skills we have, what can we really accomplish in this weekend of production? So are you able, ready to do this? Yeah? Okay.
I know. We have a few ideas, but nothing that concrete.
Okay. That's okay, because the next is really about that, bringing it down in a very simple manner.
Okay. Show map of the Peña, so where you could move inside of the place, and from place that you go you could see something different or some different kind of information. And another idea that is like a chat with rims, like doing a payada that is like a freestyle but in folk music. So there are two players and they have the timing and the music. So in that time they had to do their two lines, and then it's the time of the other player to do the other two lines, and once go back. That was another idea. We have more like a play, a little play.
The first one is for the game. It's a legend about the origin of war. So the user represents one of the first creatures in war, an unfinished creature who has to eat, take shelter. So for getting food, he can accomplish that task by himself.
I think we have an idea. It's a simple idea, but it's about a game. This game, like Juego de la Oca, I don't know in
Snakes and ladders.
Snakes and ladders. And I think our goal now is try to do it much simpler.
Yeah, so that's one of the problems we have, is that we really have one good programmer, and then some of us know a bit about coding, but not much. So that's kind of the tough part. But we're thinking about a really simple two-dimensional game, really flat, and getting some parts of the video, of the documentary, getting them in the middle of the game. For instance, you take a number. You're supposed to take a number to go to some doctor or whatever. Then a video shows of a person walking around a hospital, and then you get to the game part. And maybe solving some of the programming problems with videos in the middle and making it work.
So, user experience. So, okay, so what you're going to do now is you're going to think about user experience. So, what we want you to boil down your idea into these four elements. First is duration. How long will the experience last? And think about this weekend. Don't think about your overall thing. Just think about this weekend. Like, do you want the person that will play with that? Is it 1 minute? Is it 5 minutes? Is it 2 minutes? And after it can play for eternity? Is it like, what's your expectation on that? Actions, what the person do, but not the person, like not inside the content. Like, what does it do as is behavior, just in terms of behavior. You said, for example, I'll just take your example. You said you go around that place. So, okay, so do you go left, right, front, and back? Like, what are the actions that the person does? Is the person pushing something? Is the person putting pressure on something? Like, what are the actions that the person does? And from this action, you want just to have the functions. Like, does the person add to, if we have to enter text, do we need to have some text functions? Do we need to have upload function? Do we need to have, like, what are the functions we start to think about in terms of the results of these actions? And how does it end? How does what you're going to do this weekend, how does it gonna end? Is it something that you can play forever and you just like close a browser to end it, or you have to achieve a goal in order to end the thing? How does it end? So you want to think about these four things. So I want you to pitch us back the user experience at the end and the first person. So the person that will talk will be a first person presentation.
Ustedes digan, chiquilines.
So my name is Hugues Sweeney. I'm executive producer at the National Film Board. I'm in charge of interactive production in Montreal. And my background, actually, I did my studies in philosophy, but I've always been attracted to media. Did a lot of radio when I was a kid. So I don't know, I think in digital the two kind of in interactive documentary, the media and the philosophy kind of meet each other in some way.
Okay. Yeah, what's your personal background? Yes.
Yeah, that's a great question. So basically, I have a strong background in science, technology, and art. I went to school for pre-medical studies. At the same time, was very heavily involved in the coding just for fun. And eventually, I made my way into Tribeca Film Festival. And from there, based on my background and experience, when they built out the digital initiatives department, they brought me over.
I studied lots of things, lots of different things, but finally to do what I'm doing right now, I've studied like 10 years ago, we've been calling this in Quebec and Canada multimedia. And after that I've studied at the UQAM, the University in Montreal, in cinema, so writing and everything, but finally it's my multimedia lessons that brought me into that crazy area, actually.
Who are you?
I'm an alien. No, I'm joking. My name is Opiemi Olukemi. I am the manager of digital initiatives of the Tribeca Film Institute.
National Film Board of Canada is a public producer, so we're not a funder, we're not a grantor, we're really a producer. It's been there for 75 years. This year is the 75th anniversary. There's over 14,000 films and projects that have been created since the origin. And in 2009, the NFB decided to take a digital shift. So that meant that we would dedicate 25% of production to interactive production. So the rest is 25% animation and 50% documentary. So now we've been in digital, we released more than 50 pieces. We won over 80 prizes all around the world, that more than 50% are international awards and distinctions. And yeah, I'm curious to see what the next 5 years will be.
My name is Adnan Wasai, and I'm from POV, which is a documentary show that's been on PBS in America for 27 years. It's the longest running showcase of documentaries, and my role is that I'm executive producer of POV Digital. So we are responsible for many things, as you can imagine, on the web and digital. So we are responsible for making websites for the films, but we also create interactive documentaries ourselves. And we also run POV Hackathon, in addition to running a blog and social media.
Bueno, yo de formación soy licenciado en Comunicación Social y después hice en España una maestría en Nuevas Tecnologías de la Información y la Comunicación. Vas a sacar por no ha cambiado la denominación, tiene más que ver con la comunicación digital. Y a partir de eso siempre vengo de la realización audiovisual además, ¿no? Soy documentalista.
We are a year-round nonprofit that supports storytellers and change agents in this world. We provide funding, mentorship support, various initiatives during the Tribeca Film Festival each year, with the hope that we can increase the amount of diverse voices in the landscape of media. And whether that's for new forms of storytelling and digital initiatives, to traditional narratives or documentaries, or even through our educational department, where we kind of mold the new generation of storytellers. We definitely try to be really ambitious with who we work with and give them as much support as possible.
We started in 1994, if you can believe that, just 20 years ago, with chat rooms and message boards. And slowly we figured out that we should be thinking about interactive storytelling, not just interviews with filmmakers. So starting about 15 years ago, we started making this type of thing that we now call web documentaries. So we had projects about the environment, or about the United States-Mexico border, or about American identity. and we explored in multimedia.
So my name is Martin Vio. I'm working at the National Film Board of Canada as the lead of technology in the French program Interactive Team. So it's a long title, just to say that actually what I'm doing mostly is following teams when we're on production, pre-production, production, and hosting our projects. So I'm following the teams to make sure that we use the good technology in a good way, and that it serves the project, so the content, the documentary aspect of any project. And other than this, what I'm doing is doing some R&D, so some research about new technologies that we can use. As an example, we're starting to work with Oculus Rift, the new glasses, 360-degree glasses that Facebook just bought months ago. So we're going to start doing projects with that. So I'm testing the technology and
que tiene que ver con empezar a ver el pliegue de esa información, o sea, no los extremos y los lugares, digamos, de cruce, y no en la centralidad, ¿no?, de las profesiones, los desarrollos. Me interesa ver cómo se empiezan a cruzar y empiezan a borrarse esos límites, entonces, trabajar sobre las fronteras, lo que tiene que ver con el arte, con la comunicación, con el periodismo, con lo audiovisual, ¿no? Entonces ahí es donde nos posicionamos.
Tribeca Film Institute created a new department in 2011 called Digital Initiatives, and that was made in partnership with the Ford Foundation. At that time, we really were noticing that web documentaries were taking a foothold in the world, and we wanted to explore how we can engage audiences in different capacities and no longer through the passive viewing experience of a traditional cinema. From there, we have the New Media Fund, which we are now opening twice a year to give funding to digital storytellers. We also do a Tribeca Hacks program, which allows us to bring artists, storytellers, technologists, designers around for a short amount of time to create a digital work. We have something called TFI Interactive, which during the Tribeca Film Festival is a day-long event that allows us to just speak about how interactivity is changing the landscape, whether it's through education, design, media, whatever you can think of. We have the best speakers come and articulate their views on what's going on. And Digital Initiatives is really not just about producing the work, but exploring new forms of storytelling and creating a community. So I think through all of our initiatives, we try to have those tenets involved.